I'm not into politics, but I am a full custodian of culture, customs, and tradition. But to digress a little and not to deviate, I will say this. The Biafran community is just like the Oromian community in Ethiopia. The Oromians being oppressed by the others, which I wouldn't want to mention names, and the Biafrans being oppressed by a certain community, or what do you call it, certain populate in Nigeria. Yes, the Biafrans sat there and at the moment are sorrowful, just like we have the Amazonians sorrowful and the Romians sorrowful, but yet they are sitting up to say we support this issue of the diaspora coming through SWAF Federation. And SWAF Federation anchoring this is making us to understand we have gotten leadership that can withstand the test of the day. And that test of the day is unapologetically being a proudly African in 100% initiations of Africans' descent. I'm going to say this again, the Biafrans, as your question goes, are there in support because they have seen that the repatriation aspect and the restitution aspect is going to benefit the Biafrans also. Because our sons and daughters were slave traded some 400 years ago. We are not exonerated from that very trait of repatriation and restitution. So Biafran support is with us. And I pray that Biafran stands on their ground. And I'm praying for such because according to the world powers, they say 30 or 36 years of the warhead being alive, a sovereign state will be granted to certain regions and all that, according to their knowledge politically. That happened with the time of the warhead at that time, which was Ojukwu. But nothing happened. They ignored it until he passed on. And to be eloquent over this, I keep asking questions. Why must we, the leaders, keep quiet of what happens in some certain regions of Africa, not taking it headlong until it gets us in our own constituency? It means we are being dealt with singly. And remember, and I remember this, during the time when my father was alive, he had decidated something by putting, I don't know if the international community will understand what is a broom. When a broom stays together, it is hard to be broken. But when you pick up the broom singly, it's just a twinkle of eye, you will destroy the brooms. And that is a product that comes from the palm tree. For those who do not understand it, you can break it singly, but if it is together, you struggle. If we begin to have a formidable effort, joint things in the whole of the African descent and community, it will be hard to deal with us. So our power is in togetherness.
That is absolutely right, sir. Our power is togetherness. Now, this is also part of our philosophy as a people. And because if we are together, then we can withstand any form of challenge that is facing us. And one of the challenges that is facing us today, of course, I'm posing this question to you because you have a background in military, in security. One of the major challenges that we have today in Africa is the destabilization through the use of small pockets of violence here and there. which are not really deeply rooted. They are just there on the surface to keep burning, to keep distracting the people. And this makes it very difficult for some nations to make progress, because when there is destabilization, it is difficult to have headway. You can look at Congo, you can look at many other parts of Africa that's going on, because these are some of the issues that actually could have been solved if the people really want to solve it. But instead, they don't solve it. They just let the bubble keep on, and is really killing the continent. Now, for your experience, for your military training, you have got a lot of training from military background, security in South Africa. Of course, you are highly respected there. Tell me, how do you feel about this destabilization in different parts of Africa through the use of military strategy that is not allowing the people to focus? Because if you cannot focus, it is difficult to make any headway.
Well, the answer, I always say, what is eating up the bean is within the bean. And I'm going to say this at this point in time. If we are not destabilized, the Western world will not be receiving anything from us. They will not survive. And so the destability is part of the new law order. I repeat, if we are not destabilized, we might have expatriates in different military functions and arms. It's not going to work, except we come together, except we respect one another as Africans, except we'll begin to see the importance of one another, except we come together and know that there is no other way rather than having that formidable effort to operate. But going back to your question, yes, with my experiences and all what is going on now, I have looked in and still see that the problem we have is the problem of being used remotely and directly. Remotely, of course, I'm not afraid to say, from the Western world. Directly, from those they have made toothless bulldogs in these military arms and sections. I remember what happened while I was still in the service, where a certain head, whom I wouldn't want to mention, came into power and take the head of artillery and make him the head of the doctor department, medical department. Take the head of the medical department and make the head of the infantry. Take the head of infantry and make the head of the technical department. In other words, what do you think? It is a coup. It's a silent coup. It's a coup of the brain, because the whole department has been destabilized. Why? Imagine if at that time there is a certain situation that befalls that nation. Do you think they can perform artillery-wise? No. Infantry-wise? No, because their head has been misposted. Let me use that word. Their heads has been misposted intentionally for a reason. So this is still the same system that is going on worldwide. If there is no problem on ground, the Western world will not survive. So the term we try to throw punches, we throw punches on top as Africans, and we are busy with minor issues of borders, language barriers, and all that. They are busy taking your resources on the ground. So the only way this has to continue is by having this stability. So to me, with all what I have studied, I would tell you that the only way that the African descents and Africa can come together before, like they have been in the past, come again together, is by having in the kingdoms of the kings and royalties the same kind of royal guards with the present day impact of security in their brain, and the kind of secretiveness they used to have, which we call security of orderness. And that security of orderness, that's the word of security anyway. When we say that, security of information in one word, what does that say? It says you die with your secret and be buried with your secret without telling even your mother or your father what is happening within the next corps. If such trainings can be given, and we begin to raise the kingdom royal securities to at least start from the local constituencies, building up into standard level, then we will be able to operate as Africans. But if we continue to operate with the modern day security which has been infiltrated, which has been one way or the other divided and monitored and controlled in the Western functions and ways, I am telling you that we will continue to fail in security.